everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Aspiring Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Hamza Chowdhury, and I'd like to talk to you today about a stock that was moving today in pre-market and actually got paused for news, which ended up being no news. So if we look at the screen today, there was this mover here called BDR. And BDR basically had moved in the pre-market. So if we go ahead and expand this, you can see it sort of moved in the pre-market. It was about yesterday. It looked like it closed about 80. I think it was like 80 cents, 81 cents, and it had a post-market move yesterday, and it sort of had some continuation today. So when the market opened today, you can see these really large green candles. So this thing actually opened up today at $1.60 and hit a high of actually $3.80. So this thing completely moved. Now this is a minute candle, so the market opens at 6:30, and by 6:52 in 22 minutes, we had a significant move where stock essentially doubled. And what was interesting about the stock was if you look here at the news, and this is my setup on Thinkorswim, right? We could see that more or less today there was no news, right? So there was nothing that was dated. Today's the 19th of August, and there actually was no news. So it makes you wonder why exactly is the stock going up? And you can actually see this break right here. This is actually what we call a volatility halt. So it's when a stock is moving up significantly. Usually, I believe it's about 10% in a certain amount of time. And if it moves up so quick, the market actually pauses the stock from trading for about 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, the trading resumes. And it's kind of like a way to sort of say, hey, wait a minute, what are you doing? Think about it. And it gives you sort of a break, but it's also makes it harder to understand how's this thing going to open. Is it going to open higher than where it halted, which a lot of cases will happen. And we talked about in the past videos about like a short squeeze, right? So if people are shorting, it may squeeze them out by constantly sort of raising up the price and the shorts having to cover, which would cause the price to raise. So when it halts, it's really frustrating as a trader if you're in the trade because let's assume you're going long. If it's halted going up, most cases, a lot of times, it's going to open up higher. Not always. And so in this case, what was interesting is that it halted and then it reopened up. And as you can see, it opened up and it came up, 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 up. And then actually it looks like, what time was that? It was 7:23 Pacific time. So about an hour into the market, it actually paused. And it paused because it was basically the market saying, talking to, asking the company like, hey, why is your stock up? And what was really interesting was that if you look at the response, and it actually was halted for 3 hours. So a lot of people were probably stuck in this stock. It says that it was called the Blonder Tongue Laboratories said that it had no reason for the recent price increase in trading volume of its shares, which have been trading higher with very high volume. So you have a stock that's gapped up, it's been halted, gapped up even more, it's been halted pending news from the company, and the company is basically saying, hey, there is no news. So again, very interesting stock. You can see it traded a lot of shares. So if you look here again at the volume bars, as of right now, we've traded, I believe, about 85 million shares. And this is a stock. If you go back to all these days, you can see this stock was trading, quarter of a million shares, 42,000 shares. It doesn't really trade a lot. So its relative volume is very high, which makes it very attractive. So what does that mean? It means that it's rotated. It's not only done a lot of volume in trading, but it's also rotated a lot of hands. So people who had it earlier and sold it, and then other people bought it, and it just essentially went up and up and up. And then of course we had the massive sell-off. So as soon as the news finally came out, and you can see here there was quite a gap here, is when the news finally came out, you can see it actually opened up a lot lower. So there was this 3 hour break, and it actually opened up. I believe it was, let's see, what is that? $1.89. So imagine you're up here around, let's say, the 350, 380 range, and the stock opens up a few hours later at $1.80, and you've lost 50% potentially of your gains. Of course, if you were, taking a short position up here, then of course you're probably happy. So then the stock opens up, and you can see that it completely runs back up. So it hits a low of about $1.51, and it runs all the way back up to about $3. So now it's the shorts probably covering their positions. They're pushing up the stock, and now it's sort of gone back to under the purple line, which we call the VWAP. So this stock is all over the place, and in a stock like this, it's extremely hard to trade. So the reason why I wanted to make this video was, one, to point out these sort of gappers, but also for you to understand the risk that's involved. These aren't things that are going to be easy to trade for beginner traders, right? You don't really know what's a safe entry point. Anything above VWAP that closes above the purple line is a safe for a long, but imagine you're investing in a stock that doesn't even have any news. You don't even know why it's going higher. And you can trade those stocks, but just know the risk and have a plan. And if you can have a plan and you know that you're either going to get in and out really quick, maybe you're doing a scalp, which is, a 10, 20, 30-cent winner. So have a plan and understand that the fact that the stock got halted, the people who were stuck in that stock had no idea that it was going to be halted, right? So you're in the trade, you have no idea that the news is going to break or the company is going to halt the stock and they're going to give you news, which essentially in this case was no news. So I think a lot of people probably got trapped, and you can see clearly here it was, the RSI indicators telling us this was clearly overbought pretty much since the open. So with that
Fed
said, guys, I
Sparkin
just wanted
says
to
current
sort of review this trade
unprecedented
with
fiscal
you, let
monetary
you know sort of what
stimulus
was
has
gapping
been
up, and
critical in
hope you
avoiding
guys
even
are
worse
doing well with your trading,
economic
and
outcomes.
take care. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye, guys. Have a good one.